Billy.
Morning.
What's happening?
Good question right there.
That is a good question. What's your favorite gambling memory? Oh, so many.
Yeah, I'm probably can't single one out right now, but by the end of the show I can. I'll have to think of the. Well, it really would stand out. I guess it would be. Maybe I could answer it. Yeah. I'm not putting any thought into it. Now I am. It's easily Banchero.
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
Being the number one pick. And that was so interesting because it was the betting folks completely going on Intel versus mainstream media.
Yep.
Mainstream media until the last 5 minutes talk about it. Whoa, Jadrian Wojnarowski.
Yeah.
Until the last 5 minutes, he was adamant that Paolo Banchero was not going to be the first pick of the draft.
Correct.
By the Orlando Magic, and then he got the memo 5 minutes before, and he goes, "Well, as it turns out, it is going to be Banchero."
That's exactly what he said 5 minutes ahead.
Yeah. And all of us had really long tickets on Banchero.
Yeah. No, that was
a big one.
That's probably my favorite memory, where I made a very nice score and I gave it out to everyone. We talked about it on air that day. The draft must have been on a Thursday because we talked about it on air that day.
It was midweek. Yeah.
Yeah, and when he came on that morning and said again he wasn't going to be number one, it went back up to like 12-1 at DraftKings again. I remember that because it was down. By the way, it was down to minus like 150 overnight from 18-1, which I bet at the Westgate and DraftKings multiple times, and then in that morning again went back up to 12-1. So that probably is the standout for me, I would think.
There are so many.
Yeah.
It depends how you want to answer it. Is it the biggest? Is it the longest shot? 100-1 on Ole Miss winning the College World Series. That entire ride was awesome. Ego winning the French Open in 2020, and everything that ensued afterwards. Spectacular thing. But then there are days, right? There have been tennis days multiple times in all these years where it has been massive caches of money. And so those hold a place in my heart where it's like, wow, will those moments continue, right?
Yeah.
Those are so big. Or maybe the first bet I ever made when I was a little kid and my dad bet me $5 on the Super Bowl, right? A lot of that.
I kind of feel responsible, though, when something loses and I'm giving it out to the public, or, I'm in the pick selling business. So when I gave out like Ohtani, that was a big one too. Ohtani was at to win the MVP. It was like he was against so many people that year that he easily could have lost, and he was like 33-1.
I think of Jason Weingarten when I think about it. He was like Ohtani before anybody ever mentioned him. I think about Jason. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's so many of them, and they're all, we live this stuff, so they those moments mean a lot in our lives.
Yeah.
Obviously it doesn't mean as much as things in your personal life.
But we feel even giving out plays on the show. Sometimes like I don't give out many plays. I just don't, because it's just so unrewarding. So do you ever feel when you give out some picks and you cost someone money? I hate costing somebody money.
I also think it's also thankless because it's a completely what have you done for me lately, right?
That's right.
Again, it's like it depends when you show up also, daily or what year you show up. If you were with us between like I said, 2012, spectacular baseball season. 2013, horrible baseball season. Right. 2014, great baseball season. Yep. Tennis between 2021 and 2024, magic carpet ride. But if you joined us at the end of 2024 into now, you're like, you're terrible at this. I'm like, okay, well, not exactly, but so it's thankless in that way.
So Fez just gave me a play, and he said, "Oh, this is a really good pitching matchup," and he says, "If you want to give it out, you can give it out,
please."
Oh, I'm debating whether to give it out or not. Because people,
the whole
last time I gave out something and it lost, one of these idiots said something. I can't wait to bet against. Well, they're good. Bet against it. Perfect.
Yeah, go ahead. Bet against it.
Bet your $40 against it. And that's what the guy. He posted a ticket that he bet $40 the other way.
Yeah.
But
it's all rattling in their heads. It's all jealousy, Billy. Don't get mad at them.
But I'll be look at the last. I'll just show you. My money is where my mouth is. The last bet I made. I mean, I'm not trying to show off to anybody, but My money's where my mouth is. I just bet $2,400 on it. I mean, but anyway, all right.
5-3, by the way. 5-3 Anisimova, and it's deuce. 2 points away from either winning it or 2 points away from getting broken.
Oh, okay. So
the drama.
You got some stuff. Now, do you slow down now too?
Starting after Wimbledon right now, going into next week? Absolutely.
Yeah.
For a few weeks, yeah.
Baseball gamblers too. Even the years that I did work for sharp sports betting groups that did bet baseball, that actually beat baseball, they stopped at All-Star break, usually the week before, and then they really came back in slow, betting less of a unit size.
I have made this point many times. I probably don't make it enough. So when I used to do baseball with Dr. Bob, a lot of people say it's before the All-Star break. I always contended what you just said, which is my numbers worked great to the All-Star break. But those 2 to 3 weeks after the All-Star break, they went completely bad.
Very random.
Until August hit, and then it kind of returned.
Yes.
So listen, there's some art to that, and because you can't really pinpoint why necessarily. Yeah. But I've found that to be the case historically, for sure. You're right.
But I can't wait until football.
Football, but then it's football.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing. I'm betting tennis all the time. Even next week, I'll be betting tennis. Tennis never stops. But once football hits, this is an entire different animal. Because all we'll be talking about are those contests, weekly picks, and pro and college. Sure. I mean, what's the Colin Cowherd line? They don't pay me for September. They pay me for July.
Wow.
And he's right.
Yeah.
He's right about that.
Boy, a lot of talk since last week. A lot of people are requesting interviews about, this new law and signed into effect. And
yeah.
Have you been talking about it? Or they're not really. It's slowed down.
We talked about it for those 2 or 3 days, but it's like, it doesn't make for very exciting radio to talk about that kind of thing,
Yeah. Well, I actually talked to some lawyers, 2 lawyers, and my accountant and a gaming accountant. So talked to some more people, and the one lawyer said, wait till a constitutional lawyer takes this to the Supreme Court.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah, this is what he said. He's like, wait till a constitutional... goes... Some big gambler, not a pro, a big gambler is going to fight this.
Yes.
And a constitutional lawyer is going to take it pro bono and going to fight this before Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. And how this literally singles out gamblers. There's no other profession, there's no other career that this law applies to.
What we're referring to, by the way, for those who don't know, is Big Beautiful Bill, the gambling pork that was added. You can only deduct 90% of your losses.
Correct.
So if you won $100,000 but you lost $100,000 before it would be a wash, this would be treated instead as $10,000 of phantom winnings to be taxed because you could only deduct $90,000 of the $100,000 you lost.
And it's based on he was telling me it's based on the code and the law of equal and fair treatment to all.
Yeah.
It can't be discriminatory. And this will be brought before eventually Supreme Court.
I think you're right, by the way.
He says that, because first of all, it's so unfair how in sports you can't even carry your losses like real estate, stocks, baseball cards, art, everything.
It's already
you can carry over things indefinitely in other forms, but in gambling you can't. So we're already up against so many different things. The New Jersey law now, which just changed, and if you make a bet for someone else, it's equal to sliding a die or marking a card in the casino. It's unbelievable.
Jason Weingarten and I were texting about this the other day. I really do feel like imagine if real estate earnings, right, commercial or residential, were taxed with this new way that they're trying to get bettors to be taxed.
Yep.
People would lose their minds, right?
Yes.
But what's interesting is the outside world, beyond our little corner of the world, no one likes gamblers.
That's right.
They're like,
very good.
Screw you guys.
That's correct. People are laughing.
Yeah, people are laughing at it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
These degenerates. Yeah.
Did you see this story last week about the guys at Resorts World betting? What was it? Was it
25,000 a hand?
25,000 a hand, and they couldn't.
I put up a tweet, and I retweeted someone else's tweet with some comments, and it got 400,000 views. That's how much people were enamored by that.
Well, they wouldn't comp them a smoothie. That was the thing, right?
Yeah. I got a little bit inside word about that too.
Oh, what's the inside word?
No, that they're the guy's a very big giant gambler, and you know, he lost a very big amount of money. Yeah, 372,000 views.
Yeah.
Two hands, by the way, 25,000 each. These guys were betting, and yeah, they wouldn't comp this. You know, here's what happens. I'm told they get anything they want. Just that situational, that one person told them that shouldn't even have been talking. You know, like, don't answer a question. First of all, if you don't gamble and don't know the pulse of the business, my word, I always say, don't even be there.
Don't answer with authority.
Don't answer with, in other words, the person that answered them, obviously, if they gambled at all, they would never, ever say, we can't do something. Find out first, then say, you know, then that person of authoritative level that's, you know, maybe a VP is, talk to them. They don't want to upset someone that loses millions of dollars there. So,
you know what Kelly pointed out also on air, off air? He said that a frozen drink, like a blended drink like that, is also part of the problem. So he was telling a story about how he was just casually playing video poker, and he happened to ask one of the bartenders there, like, you know, what's the request that annoys you the most? Paraphrasing Kelly. Right. And the guy said, "Oh, any mixed drink, any frozen drink, where it requires a blender."
A lot of times,
right?
But it's already pre-made. You push a button.
Oh, I don't think it's pre-made though.
Oh, okay.
But what it does, it's an opportunity cost for the bartender, because the time it takes from the extra time it takes for him to make the blended drink takes away from the money he could be making.
Yeah, here's the world's smallest violin playing for the bartenders that are getting $20 an hour plus tips.
That's just an interesting point. I thought.
No, listen, I'll throw it right under the bus here. I went and had 2 hot dogs from the Circa cart and brought them over, not Circa cart, the South Point cart.
Yeah.
And walked them over to the bar, sat down with nobody there, and this bartender, he wouldn't serve me a soda. Meanwhile, I got a $5 bill out. I took the $5 out of my bag.
Why wouldn't he serve you a soda?
I asked for a soda and a water, and he just walked away from me and totally ignored me. And now I find out later, of course I had to do my own little investigation. They don't like patrons bringing the $1.50 hot dogs to the bars because they leave a mess or whatever it may be. You know, but like I wouldn't even.
So what? So he's taking that out on you, like passive aggressively?
Yes, yes. But by the way, I mean, there's a little guy. I got my body parts that weigh more than him.
Yeah.
He's just like the way he treated me. And if I say something to him, people are going to say the big guy's picking on the little guy. So automatically, I just said, you know, I'm not going to say too much. I didn't get mad. I got mad originally, and you know, I ate my 2 hot dogs without getting a drink, and he totally ignored me. And then I said, "You're working here, right?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm working." There was no one there, just being a wise guy. You know, like but I'm not trying to pick on bartenders, but you know, it could be pick on bartender day. Yeah.
It could be if this continues. That's right.
If this continues. No, I mean, you know, I lived back when I was in New Jersey. I lived next door to a bartender that he used to drive all the way down because he worked at Tropicana. So Tropicana must have. There was a lounge. I know it now. It's called Top of the Trop. Big lounge. He was getting ready to retire. He was making in the union $24.50 an hour 25 years ago. Like he capped out, getting ready to retire. The guy had a boat. He had he's like, I don't even cash my checks. I just live on my tips. I just get once a month, once a month, or once every 2 months I cash my check. Like, I'm just saying, listen, it's a tough job though. You're handling everyone has problems. You're basically sometimes their salvation. So it's a tough job. I understand, but hey, the world needs ditch diggers too. If this law goes through, that's what I'm going to be. If this law keeps it up.
The law thing, getting back to the conversation about the law, I do think it is interesting, you know, and I'm not familiar enough with the mechanics of legislation to know if this is going to be on the books for 2026 and then can only be changed after that, where cooler heads will prevail. But you're right about the scenario. The scenario is somebody's going to challenge it. If it goes through, somebody's going to challenge it in a real life situation after that, right? Mm-hmm. They'll be like, or they're just going to be like, how about I not pay the taxes and you come after me? See if you come after me and let's have this litigated.
That's what I had lunch with a lawyer in town, and a big lawyer, by the way, and he said he actually thinks there's no way it's going to stand up
I'm convinced it won't be a long-term thing. But in the short term, they may that's the part where I'm a little more gray area on, Where it's like in the short term, is it already going to be on the books in the short term? It's just going to have to be dealt with after the fact.
Right. Right.
So
Okay. So people are texting here.
Yeah.
About that. They, I teased someone with a game. I really wasn't teasing you with a game. I was just saying that Fez had a game.
Oh, they're mad. They're mad about that you didn't play.
Yeah.
Oh, that you didn't say.
Joe
That.
Fazio.
Right.
He's listening. Anyone with a vowel at the end of their name, look at the fire in South Florida. You got it, Joe.
Say it, Bill. What's the play?
The play was Arizona first 5. So I see if this line's right. Superbook has minus 123. It's minus 135 is the number. Minus 130, 135. So Arizona first 5, 6:40 p.m. game. Rodriguez the pitcher over Vasquez there. So there's a play from Fez, and I like I said, it gets tough because you give out one game here and one game there. We're going to lose 43 games, out of 100 or so. But it's a matter of, you catching the right game and you should get everything. So,
yeah.
But there's just a random play that Fez was telling me, and I'm passing it along to the public.
D-backs first 5 over the Padres today at Petco.
There it is.
Give it insight for those who are new to you or newish to you, who are like, all right, this character fascinates me. What's his story now in the summer? What do you do before
during the
football
summer?
season? Yes.
I'm happy that we're not going to be here the next 2 Thursdays.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be here.
Right.
And so I'm actually happy about that because I haven't went anywhere. So I'm part of a documentary that I filmed on this comedian in town, and he was in town for years, Vinny Favorito, and he would borrow money off anyone he can. And he's openly admitting it. He borrowed money off anybody. He had a big, by the way, started out downtown here at Binion's, and had this little comedy show, and went to making $20,000 a week working at the Flamingo. He had a show that was sold out every night.
I never even heard of him. Vinny Favorito.
Vinny Favorito.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the best comedians.
Yeah.
Listen, I love Dice, buddy of mine. Been to his house, friends with him.
Hickory dickory.
I love Dice, like I said. But I think him and Vinny are running to the finish line as the best break balls comedians. Vinny picks on every single person in the audience. Doesn't matter race, size, color, gender. You're getting picked on.
So the documentary is about his ascent?
Well, it's about his descent.
Oh.
What he did to people.
Oh, wow.
Including me. I'll be happy to say.
In terms of borrowing money and never paying it back?
Never pays back. Yeah. So,
wow.
So this was...
Is he
he owes millions out to the customers.
Is he happy with his documentary? Or
Probably not.
Okay, so
but
he's not
only...
producing it or anything.
No, he's going to the premiere. Yeah, he's going to the premiere.
Oh, is he in the documentary?
Oh God, the whole thing's about him.
Okay, so he's in it. So he's part of it.
Trying to present his style of the story.
Got it.
Having a vowel at the end of his last name and having a problem being a problem gambler. Yeah,
what is the name of this? I'd love to see this now.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna look up the actual wording of it because it's in July. I should have it right on my phone.
I'm all in now.
But,
this is from a Kelly Bidlin. Are you familiar with the Kelly Bidlin?
Yes.
Kelly Bidlin, long time, first time. Big fan, he says.
All right.
When Krack decides on a shirt-hat combo, does he buy the shirt first and then the hat, or the other way around?
Oh, they have gray on today. Yeah, I have.
That's a great
I don't really
question.
have too many. I have dark, literally dark gray, dark blue, and black hats. And I'll have the hats first. You know what?
Hats first.
Hats first.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the hats, and then we'll decide on a shirt or something like that. But let me tell you,
Wow. Interesting.
Here's how the hats came about. So I was wearing a hat that wasn't a Kangol hat, and I was with my buddy who's still kicking right now, 95-year-old Don Elbaum. Give him a shout out because he's in some rehab right now. I was with him, and we were in Philadelphia. We took a train to go on a show called Cold Pizza on ESPN.
Cold Pizza
in New York.
Yeah.
It was in the New Yorker building, and he was having a gentleman that was fighting his first. He was a Philadelphia police officer that was fighting in his first fight, professional fight, and Don was promoting him, and I also he got me on the show for something. I forget what it was at the time, some kind of gambling aspect. It was 25 years ago, and I had a hat on that wasn't a Kangol, and Kangol see me on ESPN and sent me a box of 13.
Is that right?
Yeah, they sent the guy, the host who was a big host. I can't think of his name now. Sorry, he was a big host at the time. Reached back out to Don and said, "Hey, Kangol wanted to give that guy hats. They wanted to wear Kangles, not those hats. That I had a hat, it wasn't a Kangol. And they gave me all different colors.
So Kangol sent them to you because you were on Cold Pizza. Cold Pizza was hosted by Dana Jacobson and Jay something or other.
It was Jay.
Jay
was very good.
Yeah, I can't remember his last name, though.
That was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then that's how it originally started. How smart were they? Because I buy their hats now.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, the hats back then were only $15. Now they're $60. They're just, in the mall. You can get them online for about $40, but... So anyway, the hats come first, and then
I never knew that Kangol story. Yeah. Never knew that. I should have asked that many years ago.
That's how the Kangol hats came into play.
Super jerk. Best gambling memory ever. Easy. First tournament I ever bought into. I won it solo because I didn't know that I could chop. $10,000. Have chopped everything since. Tony Tags. Krack mentioned a big gambler that could fight the new tax laws in court. Anyone have Mattress Max number? Yeah, I think we could do somebody else.
Right.
John Balducci. That Anisimova bet, that was excruciating. Well, big dogs tend to be, but we got there. Brian M. Topher Barron. Amanda, he says, exclamation points. Grabbed more of her last week at 14-1 to win it all. Not a parlay. He says, no, not a parlay. Just 14-1 to win it all. Well, you're one match away. Stringfellow Hawk. I'm not out here handicapping sports, so if when plays are given out, I tailor don't. If it wins or loses, I didn't put in the work to gloat or complain. I listen and bet for the enjoyment. Stringfellow, I wish we met Stringfellow out here after the show one time. I wish everybody had that attitude. And then, let's see, Montreal Max. I'm just going to Ron Burgundy through this.
Oh, man.
No surprise that again, he's making it political, so I'm not going to say that. But I'm with you, Montreal Max. Just not going to read it on air.
The movie that was, we found the name.
So let's go back.
I didn't want to quote the word, I didn't want to use the word con man if that wasn't really in the movie. So it is though. It's Vinny Plays Vegas, the con man of comedy.
Let's reset it. It's about Vinny Favorito.
Yes.
Vinny Favorito.
Yep.
And the name of the documentary is?
Vinny Plays Vegas, the con man of comedy. And it comes out the end of the month. And I'm going into L.A. because I'm one of the people that are narrated and documented a lot of the movie.
It says starring Bill Krackomberger. It says that right there.
It's amazing that,
starring Bill Krackomberger.
I wish my parents were alive to know that I have 3 or 4 IMDb credits, gambling related. And I say I wish my parents were alive because I just think of my mom and dad saying, Bill, don't be talking about the sports betting. You're going to get in trouble talking about sports betting.
When I visit my father, not so much with my mom, I don't do this, but with my father, when I have conversations with him in the grave, and it's along these lines too.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, my mother was okay. Italian from the Bronx. She's all right.
Yeah.
My father, he was a little bit different. Old school Hungarian.
Yeah.
He was, don't you dare talk about this gambling. You're going to get yourself in trouble. I said, Dad, I'm a sports bettor. I'm not a bookie. I'm not an agent. I'm not doing anything. Like now, it's so much. There's networks dedicated to it. We're on one.
Yeah.
So
where is this airing? Do we know this documentary?
Yeah, it's actually airing in Los Angeles, which I'm not a Los Angeles fan, to be honest. I hate going to L.A., but I am going to L.A.
But after Los Angeles, it's going to be on a network.
Then it's going to be on what's the other big one? Prime.
Amazon Prime Video.
It's going to be on Prime,
okay.
and I'm almost positive it's on July 28th.
I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, I just figured you knew who he was because he was in town for 10 years.
I'm embarrassed that I don't. I'm sure most people know who he is.
No, listen, he stole millions and millions of dollars from people. A waitress gave him Vinny had a way of schmoozing people.
I was going to say, why'd she give him? But people are
She gave him her credit card to go to the Mac machine, the ATM machine.
Yeah.
And she thought he was taking a couple hundred. He took $3,000. How do you steal from anybody? Never mind a female.
So let me ask you a question. And then he is willing to be in a documentary about this. So can I just ask you this? How present is he mentally then?
I think the thing is he thinks it's his only comeback to make some money now out of it. He can make a comeback. He's actually in town on the weekends.
What do you mean making a comeback? I thought he was making $20,000 a week.
No, back before he got fired. So he was at the Flamingo.
So is he busted now? He's broke?
I think he's broke, busted, disgusted, and can't be trusted. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I'm into this.
This is like, I'm laughing because how much you're into it.
Well, no, you know why? Because I enjoy documentaries, first of all.
Right.
The girlfriend likes a true crime documentary.
Oh, wow.
And part of the subgenre of that is scammers, right?
Yeah.
Scamanda, right?
Yeah.
There's all these scam things that
Yeah.
are out there now. I just watched one. Falika just recommended one, The Imposter, the other day, which was like a guy who was like a family had this poor family had a child abducted in Texas, and some dude in Spain. I don't want to give it away, but it just goes on. But anyway, I love stuff like this because I'm amazed at the human condition. I'm amazed at human beings' ability to not care about others.
That is amazing.
I'm amazed.
See, we're
at
on
that.
the same boat there.
I am.
How do you not care about others like that?
Yeah, and you know what I used to say to my mom all the time, because my mom was always disappointed by people, and I would say to her, "Ima, these people are just not as nice as you are."
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand, you know. But here I am watching these documentaries, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, how can you borrow all that money? And poor waitress, you stole
How do you
100.
take money off a female?
Oh my God.
No, how about a crossing guard? The fans of the show, big players.
Yeah.
He would just take my. Listen, he got $11,000 out of me. That's right.
Oh.
I mean, it's just like I can't explain it. He's a. Now, granted, I got free tickets to every show. I don't know if it's worth $11,000, but and I got a lot of friends in there. I can't believe we never went to the show. But he's back in town.
You and I got scammed by someone else. We're not going to say any names, but you and I got scammed by somebody else years and years ago.
Listen, that was for me is about 6 times the amount. I've been scammed out of a lot of money in my life.
Oh man!
But I put up a wall now.
Good.
You know.
Good.
But anyway, he is back in town. Downtown on the weekends, on Saturday and Sundays.
Vinny Favorito.
Yes, he just got back in town.
Where?
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're going to go see him then. We're going to go see him.
Move over, babyface. Move over, Raphael Sadiq.
He's
I'm going to see
downtown
Vinny
at the
Favorito.
what's it called? Neonopolis? Downtown here?
The what?
The Neonopolis.
I don't know.
It's across from the Walgreens downtown here.
What could go wrong? We'll go.
Yeah, there's a little showroom there.
Yeah.
And he's got 50, 100 people a night on a Saturday, Sunday, and we can go anytime. Yeah.
Now,
comes off my number.
What's that?
It comes off my debt. No.
Oh, I was going to say, would you be the type of person that would be like, "Hey, Vinny, where's my money?"
No.
Well, no, you wouldn't. You just keep your mouth shut.
That's over now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're part of the documentary, trying to make some money with.
Aren't these people fascinating though? The ones that they've stolen money in volume from so many people, and yet they conduct the rest of their days on planet Earth, I guess, with their own mental wall, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose to some horrible degree I can understand the only way they could exist is if they had no conscience whatsoever, right?
Yep.
Because otherwise they would they would die internally from shame.
And so we end this segment with it, and that's it. I won't talk about it next segment. People ask how it happened. Like he said to me, "Oh, I got this new shirts and hats, and we're doing recordings. I just need to get money, like $11,000 for this whole setup. We're going to start selling things. You're going to be part of it with me. You're going to be a partner." But he said that same con to 2 dozen people. That we're going to have this setup. You're going to be part of it, selling my merchandise. Yeah, that's how he got me.
I had no idea.
And then next thing I know, he was playing Pie Guy with the money, and that's a true story.
Of course he was.
I see he was playing Pie Guy with the Golden Nugget, firing.
It's the old Letterman
500
joke.
with that
Oh,
was a
I've
hand.
got gambling money. It's the whole thing.